Hello, everyone, and welcome along to the latest edition of Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's the #1 tennis betting podcast brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. I'm Nigel Seeley, and as you can see, I'm not in my usual office. There's no pictures of Bobby Moore, Diego Maradona, or any other footballing geniuses behind me. I am over in Vienna for the ATP Tour 500 event this week. I haven't got to the tennis yet. I'll be there tomorrow, but I'm delighted to say joining me from the cross over in the UK is our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It's Sean Calvert. Sean, good afternoon to you, mate. How are you doing?
Evening. I'm all right, apart from the fact that it's half term here, and I've had four 8-year-olds to deal with this afternoon. So I'm a bit frazzled. I haven't had a chance to watch as much tennis as I would have liked today. But I was hoping you were going to say you've been in Vienna and you'd seen the conditions, but I've seen it on the TV. But I've been a bit. It's been a bit fraught today. It always is during half term, unfortunately.
Tomorrow is the day for me, unfortunately. I really want to go today. I looked around the town. I wanted a bit of sightseeing today. I walked around Vienna. We're only ever in these cities for like 3 or 4 days, and I wanted to sort of get one. And I tell you what, I like what I see here. I think it's a really cool spot. Really, really cool spot. It's a really nice. There's nice fields about. Not too expensive. There is a very good bus service that I've been told, and the surface that I've been told.
You've never been on a bus in your life, have you?
As I said, I've been told it's a really good bus service. And we have a tram as well, which is good for you.
Oh, I use the trams in Antwerp.
Ubers are good. They're here in minutes. Fantastic. Really good.
Yeah, I'm not splashing out on an Uber. Not after my taxi experience in Antwerp when I got done for €30 for a 5-minute cab ride. That's me done for the year. I'm out.
Well, anyway, if you ever got the opportunity to come here, I think for next year, 2024, I think Calvert needs to come to Vienna.
Do you think I could do it on a sort of bit of a budget?
Yeah, 100%. You don't want to travel with air. You don't want to travel in a big bag because I got paid 48 quid for having a little bag that was the bag that I use everywhere in Europe. And you know, believe it or not, occasionally I do go, cattle class, but I actually had a little bag that I go everywhere, and they wanted an extra 48 quid to let me get in the bag.
You got to get the dimensions right, otherwise it's going to cost you. But never mind.
Well, anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about the tennis today. The tennis action today's been pretty good. We had a winner, first set tie break.
Just now, yeah.
Yeah, what a nice winner. That was a nice price winner. Really, I come here and I looked at the matches, as well, and I read all the reports about it. It is fast. I haven't been there, but tomorrow I will be in action.
It looks quick. I can see, on the TV, but you can't always tell on the TV. But it looks quickish.
But that was quite an easy cash, really, when you look at it. It was a good play today. Tsitsipas against Dominic Thiem. The match is still in play as we're recording this match now. Dominic Thiem's in trouble in the second set, lost the first set.
Should have won the first set, really.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, though, it is quick. Total games look the way to go here. Just for you, have you got the stats yet or just watching it from the TV?
No, I haven't got. They take a couple of days to come through. I haven't really got them yet.
Okay, so anyway, let's move on to the matches today. And over the first match we're going to talk about is the #1 seed and the tournament favourite, Daniil Medvedev up against Artur Fils. Now, Artur Fils got to the final last week in Antwerp, the tournament Sean was at. I think we're going to come to the common theme on this podcast, on this show as well, about players that have performed last week. And the market has gone very, very high on their chances. Now, Artur Fils with his plus 460 against Medvedev for 670. They've never met before. It's head-to-head, so 0-0. The handicap here is 4.5 with Bet Rivers, with Fils minus 129 receiving the 4.5 start. Medvedev is even money, giving up 4.5, and the total was 20.5. There's 27 different markets available on the Bet Rivers website. You can live stream the match if you place a wager there, watch it from the comfort of your own home. Tomorrow, the action starts about 8 o'clock Eastern time. We do not know the order of play yet, but I look at this match here and I think to myself, they've met once before. In Shanghai, and Medvedev, he lost in the round number 3. Fils has got through to the final last week in Antwerp. He's obviously the one in a little bit of form here, but I think minus 670 is a little bit short. I think if Fils never got to the final last week, would he be plus 460 here? Would Medvedev be 670? Has the market gone a little bit crazy on players that have played the week before?
Possibly. I mean, if we look at the stats, you can see why it's favours Medvedev, but I just wonder, is there much to play for Medvedev? I know he's defending champion here, but he can't end the year number 1, probably can't end the year number 2. He's already qualified for Turin. Is he that bothered? Well, possibly, but we'll see. He's lost 2 of his last 3 matches. to Seb Korda and Jannik Sinner. I don't know whether you saw this week, but Arthur Fils is now working with an old mate of yours, Sebastian Grosjean.
Oh my, me and Seb.
I don't know whether you saw that. He's
he
actually...
texted me. He texted me.
Oh, he did. Okay, you got the news first, then, I presume.
No, I didn't know it's Seb. I've got loads of Sebs on the phone, and then Seb G. I've got. That's how I knew it was him.
Well, it's Seb G. Then he left his position as Davis Cup coach actually, just to coach Fils full time. So I think that's a quite a statement there. Fils beat Tsitsipas last week and crushed Casper Ruud in Hamburg, you probably remember. So his 2-1 win-loss against top 10 opponents. The only loss was against Rune on clay. Looking at his stats, 8-4 win-loss on indoor hard main level this season. Hold serve 89% of the time and winning a very healthy 57% of his second serve points. And his service points won and return points won total is 102. So the level is there. He's obviously been playing indoors. Medvedev hasn't. I think this is about as tricky an opener as he could have got, really, Medvedev. He'll probably win it, because he's obviously the class act. But, don't underestimate Fils. I think he's going to be a big player in the next sort of few years. So the bet I liked here, that I took it earlier on when it was slightly bigger price. But even now, over half a tiebreak in this match, 2.85 plus 185 with Bet Rivers. I took it slightly earlier than that earlier on, but that looks big to me against a guy who's held serve 89% of the time. I just think this is too short a price on Medvedev. I think that's a good spot.
But we are talking about players, and we talk about players who have a big week the week before and then come the following week. But the travelling here is hardly anything, is it?
No, it's minimal, yeah.
It's nothing. So for a lot of people here are American viewers, that what time scale is that? It's an hour journey. It's nothing. So it's not really a factor. And he's been very candid, a nice time on the order of plays. He obviously plays on a Wednesday, first round match on a Wednesday. You don't usually get that on ATP Tour 500 matches as well. So that's what I looked at. I thought plus 460 to win it on the money line was a big price. Medvedev at minus 670. I just thought that was too big, and I thought the handicap here at 4.5 was crazy as well.
Yeah, I think that's a decent spot as well. I just took the bigger price this stage of the season. I like to, any stage of the season, I like to get the biggest prices I can if they're viable. And I think this is viable. Fils has shown, as I said, that he's not cowed by playing these top 10 guys. Sometimes players, particularly young players, they can be a little bit overawed playing Grand Slam champions, major finalists, top 10, top 5 guys. But that hasn't been the case with Arthur Fils. And from what I've seen of him, I've seen him quite a few times now this season, and he doesn't look like the sort of player that would really be bothered by reputation. So Medvedev's going to have to come and win this. And it's, as I say, it's his first match on indoor hard for a while. Fils is well attuned to the conditions. I just think if you're betting Medvedev at that price, I think that's a problem, I think.
So we're looking at the first set, or a set to be a tiebreak.
Any set to be a tiebreak, yeah.
That big price, plus 185. Just before we move on from this match, I just want to ask you a question. There's a lot of people around on Twitter and a lot of people now already, tennis sort of websites, are already asking for players they think might have a big breakthrough in 2024. Would Arthur Fils be high up on the Calvert list of players that could break through in 2024?
Yeah. I don't see any reason why not. He's only a young man, but now he's prized Grosjean away from the French Federation. Excuse me. I don't see any reason why Arthur Fils can't start, getting up towards the sort of top 20 and whatever. And obviously, he's a young man still, but I see a good future for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also a young man. Sean Calvert isn't a young man, but it's a good future for me as well. But anyway,
my playing days have gone, I'm afraid.
My playing days never even started. But Arthur Fils is obviously a French player. Sean Calvert will be over in Paris next week for the ATP Masters as well, giving you all the best bets from Paris, where we expect some things. But there's some big players coming through, and everything you'll have covered will be here on the Bet Rivers Network and on Because We Win for the 2024 season. We'll give you the players that we want to follow, and Arthur Fils will definitely be up there. Move on to the next match. Zverev against Norrie. I mean, this is a massive match between two players that have played many times. They met 5 times before. Alexander Zverev leads 3-2 in the head-to-head. Interesting one, though, here, because all but one of the matches they played previously have cashed on under the total games. But in 4 of the 5 sets they've played, the opening set has been a tiebreak.
Yeah.
So it's been a complete washout in set number 2, but set number 1 has been really competitive with lots of tie breaks here. The spread here was 3.5. Norrie obviously had a big win in the round 1. He's plus 105, plus 3.5. Zverev is minus 134, giving up 3.5. And the total here is 22.5. Unders bettors have been getting the cash in this match. But in first sets, anything but. Very, very close. And whoever wins the first set tends to win the match when these two play.
Yeah, and it's normally Zverev, isn't it? Norrie's 2 wins came almost 10 years ago. One was 10 years ago. I think one was 9 years ago in Futures and Challengers. So the last 3 have gone the way of Zverev, as you said, in a very similar pattern. First set tiebreak, second set much easier for Zverev. I can see something similar happening today. Maybe not even the tiebreak, the way that Norrie's playing. I just don't know what's going on with Cam Norrie at all. Whether it's fitness, whether he's just lost confidence, because he's nowhere near the player he was back at the start of the year or sort of back end of last year. He's making too many errors because the style of play that he has, it's not defensive as such, but it's sort of line and length, to use a cricketing term, isn't it? It's I'm not going to miss. You're going to have to get it past me. But now he's missing. He's making too many mistakes for that style of play to be effective. If you're going to play that way, you've got to make very few unforced errors, and he's making too many. I mean, last 3 months at main level, we could compare these two. It's very much in favour of Zverev, although I don't think he's been playing his absolute best in recent weeks. Certainly not in recent weeks, in recent months. But let's look at this. Last 3 months at main level, Zverev, 78% win rate and a service points won, a return points won, total of 106. Cam Norrie, 33% win rate and a total of 99. That's nowhere near what Norrie's has been capable of in the past. So he's well down on his best level. Zverev in Vienna at this tournament, 8 wins, just the 1 defeat, service points won and return points won, total of 107. On current form, I can't see Norrie doing a great deal here. If I had more faith in Zverev, I'd be tempted by the minus 3.5 games here on Zverev. I just worry about him putting in a dodgy one. When I've always feel like if I'm going to back him at odds like this, I'm worried about him starting coughing up double faults and sort of losing his rhythm and stuff like that. But the way that this has been going, I'd go with Zverev to win it either straight sets or on the handicap.
I know we're on Rublev to win the tournament, who's just progressed through to the second round this afternoon. But
yeah, Zverev, I saw some of his match, yeah.
Zverev is the kind of player that it's all in, isn't it? He either wins the tournament or bows out in round 1. So if he gets through this match, and he, with the record he's got here, and obviously this, we're not far from Germany where we are in Vienna here. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of support. He won in Hamburg with the German support behind him. He looks to me someone who could potentially win this title.
Possibly. I mean, he was quite short in price, wasn't he? He was. I can't remember his exact odds, but they were pretty short. Rublev was bigger.
I'd rather bet him than Medvedev. I think Medvedev was the favourite. I wouldn't bet Medvedev at the price.
Yeah. I think Medvedev was the favourite. I just feel like Rublev's he certainly had Zverev's number this year, whereas before that head-to-head was very much in favour of Zverev. I'm not so sure whether it was just fortunate on Rublev's part that he was playing Zverev when he was quite early into his comeback. We'll see if these two play later. Rublev had to battle with himself today. I mean, I saw the first set. He made a right mess of it from 4-2, 40-15. He had an easy smash to go 5-2 and gave it straight back to Popyrin and ended up almost losing the set. Popyrin served for the set. But I've got faith in Rublev. I think the way that he's been playing, if he can reproduce that Shanghai form, Rublev, I think that's better form, in my personal opinion, than anything Zverev has produced in recent months. So I'm happy to be on the side of Rublev there.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that at all, but I just think that when Zverev hits top form, he can blow people away.
He can be the very best. Yeah, no doubt about that.
And I think there's more chance. I think there's more chance of Rublev. It's very fancy tonight, or fancy this week. He could go deep, whereas losing the first round, whereas Rublev could be in the first round. But obviously, if he gets to the latter stages, it's a different matter. But I think with Zverev, it's hit or miss. I think he either goes deep in the tournament, he's out round 1, as we saw in Safin and in recent matches, some the defeats that were really pretty poor. But that's enough to be. So we're in the Rublev camp. When I see Andre tomorrow, I'm going to say to this, we're in the Rublev Chamber. I saw him in Dubai. He's my buddy. You know, he's another one. I just got him.
I don't think he'll be playing.
AR on the phone. He's not
AR. He won't be playing tomorrow, but I don't know whether
he's in town. He's in town. He's messaging.
Well, he's definitely in. We know he's in town. Yeah, he's probably staying at your hotel, is he?
I don't think he can afford this hotel. To be fair to me, this is the suite. This is the suite. This is the suite. I don't know.
I don't know what a suite is. I don't know what a suite is. I'm sorry.
Well, there's loads of suites here. Honestly, Sean, get in here. This hotel, loads of suites. I love
my price range.
In this hotel, there's jellies everywhere, bags of jellies, cola bottles. My
little boy would love it, wouldn't he?
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So, if he is
there
in
you
it,
go. Travel advice.
Hit me up. I'm in room. Hit me up. I'm in room 336. Anyway, let's move on to the final match tomorrow here in Vienna, and this is the one I wanted to see. I touched it on Sunday. I said to you, when I saw the first round draw, I was thinking I would love to see this match tonight, and I'm really excited about it. Hopefully, I'm there tomorrow afternoon. I'm not in the evening session, so hopefully they put this one up in the afternoon session. We don't know the order of play. Check the Bet Rivers website out. You'll see the order of play. 29 different markets available in every single match we're talking about here. But it's Jannik Sinner, number 2 seed, up against Ben Shelton, the up-and-coming star from America, who just won last week in Japan, in Tokyo. Jannik Sinner is -$4 to win here. Another guy who's going to have a lot of support here. Ben Shelton is +$3. We know that Ben Shelton has just travelled a 14-hour-ish plane journey across from Tokyo to here in Vienna. But he did win against Sinner this year in Shanghai in a close match. He won in 3 sets in 30 games. -$4 Sinner here, +$3 Shelton. The handicap, to me, looks a monstrous 4.5, given that Shelton's serve. 22.5 is the total games. Now, before you give me your opinion on this match, and I'm going to bow to your opinion because you're the main man on this tennis like this. But I think to myself, Shelton is a young lad. He's absolutely full of himself. He's come back. He's not travelling on Wizz Air or EasyJet like we do. He's got a full. He can have a bed. He can sleep. He can come here. He's full of confidence. His father's an ex-tennis player. He's got a great team around him. He's on the upwards spiral. We saw last year with Felix Auger-Aliassime coming to the end of the season and going win, 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 win. Now, if anyone can turn that around, I think Ben Shelton can here. Now, on what we've seen in recent weeks, $3 is a monstrous price for me on Ben Shelton. And the handicap of 4.5 for Shelton, I think it's a little bit disrespectful given how powerful this serve is in big conditions. But it is a 14-hour flight. It is a lot for him to ask for. I understand that the downside, but I look at that price and think $3, I think that's a little bit wrong.
I think it's based on the stats. I think this is just based on data. If we look at what Ben Shelton's done since the start of August, which you would say has been his peak time, if you want to call it that, they're decent stats, but they're not top class. 16-5 win-loss, 76% win rate, which is excellent. But his service points won and return points won total. It's only 104. It's good. It's very good. But is it elite level? And his service hold and break total is 106. Now, if we compare that with Sinner in the same time frame, Sinner 82% win rate, a 107 service points won and return points won total, and a whole break total of 116. So you can see why the prices are perhaps as they are. But you're right. I think that the sort of feel of it, if you're going away from the data and you're sort of looking at them prices and thinking, is that the right price? I can see why you think it's a bit short. Definitely.
My angle here is if you're talking about someone like Medvedev who doesn't have much motivation to win it, what motivation does Sinner have? I mean, he must be on the same kind of level of him, thinking, well, okay, let's get to the ATP Tour final, see what we'll do. In his Sinner's ATP Tour finals, obviously in Italy, and I think that the fact that he's won in Tokyo is factored into this $3 price. Let me bear this in mind. I'm not going to bet him plus $3. I'm not going to. But I think, given the serve he has and given how quick these conditions might be, I think plus 4.5. It wouldn't surprise me at all the first set be a tie break, and then as long as he doesn't get beat 6-2 in set number 2, if Sinner wins in straight sets, then we've got a great bet. I just think 4.5 on the evidence of the form in the last 2 months or so is too strong.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a similar conclusion written down here. I mean, it is about some way. It's about the recovery and the jet lag as well. I think he could be forgiven, couldn't he, if he loses the first set tiebreak 7-6, something like 13-11 or something in the tiebreak. You could see him potentially dropping a second set by a sort of large margin. But yeah, 4.5 does feel pretty big. The ones I've got written down here are 2.02 plus 102 about him winning a set, any set. Similar price, 2.06 plus 106 about a tiebreak in any set of the match, or a set one tiebreak was 3.9 earlier on. So yeah, I think those are the spots. I mean, those are leans. I'm a bit concerned about the jet lag and stuff, but yeah, that's what I've got written down here.
Yeah, over 22.5 games is minus 103. But anyway, there's loads of angles to get with Sinner against Shelton. Let's move across to Basel over in Switzerland. Two matches we're going to quickly talk about. Fritz against Purcell, minus 530 for the American number one. Purcell plus 380. The handicap here is 4.5. Fritz minus 105. Purcell plus 121. And the total is 21.5 over minus 127, under plus 100. So even money. What do you fancy, Ishal?
Sorry, I'm on the wrong section here. We've moved over to Basel here, haven't we?
Barbie, we're moving across. We just across from Austria to Switzerland.
Yeah, I've got to open a different document here. So right, it's opened. Yeah, I mean, Fritz certainly looked jaded lately, hasn't he? He's played. I'd have to look at how many matches he's played, because he's played 73 matches in 2023, which is more than he's ever done, or it will be more than he's ever done by the time the season's finished. Last year, 67. The year before, 56. The year before was COVID, but 31 matches played there. He's never gone more than 73 in a season in his career. He's already played 73. Just feels like it's a kind of jaded Taylor Fritz. This. I looked at his record on indoor hard in this particular swing, what I call the European sort of fall autumn indoor hard swing. And a lot of US players have struggled with it in the past. It just, for them, you get the impression that it's a bit of a drag. They're so far away from home. They can see the end of the season in sight. Some of them aren't going to be inching in. Some of them are just be playing Paris and then going home. And, they can be forgiven for thinking, this is just a last push and then I'm done. Because, it is a very, very long season, we've said before. So his record is 22-22 win-loss at main level this time of the year, i.e. after the US Open on indoor hard. So basically this month or so. So he only wins half of his matches in his career at this time. Not great. Had some bad losses, hasn't he? Edge past Watanuki in Shanghai. Then he lost to Schwartzman. Then he lost a bad one to Mochizuki from miles ahead.
He won the first 6 love, didn't he, that much?
Yeah, he did. I think Mochizuki was a bit nervous, but I think he was 5-2. What wasn't in the final set, Fritz, or something like that. Similarly to Schwartzman, he let those get away. The problem is Purcell's looked tired as well. After making back-to-back quarterfinals in Cincinnati and Winston-Salem, he's lost 7 of his 8 matches since, and he has looked tired. But I feel like the playing style of Purcell, if he can use the variety that he does have, he has a slightly unusual style sometimes. He slices the forehand when he wants to. If he can do that, if he can get into the net or draw, or perhaps more importantly, if he can draw Fritz into the net, where we know Fritz isn't comfortable. Fritz loves to be on the baseline, doesn't like going to the net. Purcell has the sort of skill set to potentially get him off that baseline. And if he can, there could be another tricky day for Fritz. I'd expect Fritz to win it, but again, set one over 10.5 games, 3.05 plus 205. That was a Bet Rivers when I looked earlier. Obviously, these guys haven't met before, so Fritz won't be used to that style that Purcell has. So in those situations, I like to go for set one overs before they figure each other's game out.
Yeah, check the Bet Rivers website to make sure that the price is still available here. But I agree with Sean there. I think Purcell gives him problems. I like the 4.5. Purcell 4.5. I always like, I said on this show many times, the big servers, they win the set 7-5, 6-4, 7-6. Fritz is not going to win this set 6-1, 6-2. I know he did win the last set 6-1, but Purcell will keep it close. I think +4.5 brings in the overs as well. I think that's a great strategy to have here in Basel. The final match we're going to talk about, Hugo Humbert. Are we with him? Are we against him? But he's up against Marcus Giron. He's our friend or our foe. We don't know which way we're going to go. The Frenchman is -165. Marcus Giron is +135. Marcus Giron has had a big week last week. Some impressive numbers, impressive form. The handicap here is 2.5. The spread is 2.5 in favour of Humbert. The total is 22.5. Sean, can we trust Hugo, or are we against him? What are we doing?
He's often not been my friend, has he, Humbert?
He's on the Christmas list, or is he off the Christmas list? That's what we're only a couple of months away.
He hasn't been on the Christmas list for quite a while, actually.
Is anyone on the Sean Calvert Christmas list? That's one thing I want to know.
Undisclosed. You mean tennis players or just people in general?
Just general, anybody.
I must admit, I don't send Christmas cards. I must admit, I'm not. No, exactly. I'm not a big Christmas. It's a lot of admin, isn't it? Your big old list and having to write stuff out. I'm not keen on that. Anyway, Marcos Giron, great form in Tokyo, wasn't he? Very, very close. Should have made the final, shouldn't he, against Shelton? Set and a double break up. Giron, he does get very nervy. Giron managed to not win that match against another left-hander, obviously in Shelton. Humbert, obviously left-handed, got a good record against lefties. Giron, I think a lot of that is because he's got a very, very solid backhand. He's won at least a set in 15 of his last 18 matches against left-handers at main level, has Giron. And of the 3 that he didn't, one was against Nadal, the other one was against Cam Norrie when Cam Norrie was playing well. So he's certainly got a good record against left-handers. The head-to-head isn't great for Giron, but if we look into that, they played once. I think it was in New York indoors. It was a really late match. I remember that one. It was after 11 o'clock at night, I think. Giron lost the first set and he just thought, you know what? I'm about done here. So I'm not putting too much store in that head-to-head. But what really makes me want to back Giron are the stats here. You know, Humbert has found his form late this season, and his best part of the season has been recently, but he's still behind Giron on the stats. If we look at their last 10 matches each, and I've included Humbert's Davis Cup wins. Humbert, service points won and return points won total 101. A whole break total of 102. Giron, service points won, return points won total of 103 and a whole break total of 106. Yet we're expecting to back Humbert at, what is he, -$2, roughly? I mean, not for me. I mean, Humbert might win this match, but there's no basis for him being that short. So I've got Humbert written down here, but that's wrong. I've taken Giron to win this match, round about the sort of 2.5 plus 150 mark.
So there you have it. They are the 5 big matches we're talking about tomorrow here in Vienna and across in Switzerland and Basel. Sean, just give us a quick recap before you go on the matches you've got and the best bets you have. Yeah,
in Basel, Giron around about 2.5 plus 150, and the other one was the tiebreak played, wasn't it? In Vienna, Medvedev against Artur Fils. That was a plus 185 chance for Bet Rivers.
Yes, still plus 185. Giron has actually come down to plus 135. But check the Bet Rivers website. You'll also see on the Bet Rivers website the timing of these matches, but they're scheduled to start around about 8 o'clock Eastern time. But check the order of play tomorrow. I will be at the tennis tomorrow. I can guarantee you on that. You can follow me on our Instagram channel, and you can also follow me on Twitter @because we're on our socials. There are another couple of ways to follow us here on what we do here. You can download the podcast of Betting Weekly Game Bet Match on your preferred podcast provider, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Betting Weekly Studios. Huge amount of content on there on the tennis with myself and Sean. Sean will be in Paris next week. I'm in Vienna today. And also Champions League this evening and tomorrow. Brilliant amount of action on there, and also the domestic leagues in soccer all around the world. I will be on there as well for this week, midweek and weekend. Sean, thank you very much for joining me as always, mate. I will chat to you tomorrow. Have a good night. Take care, everyone. Good luck with your bets, and let's cash some tickets.